Welcome to the Mindful Musings podcast. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis and one of the most influential figures in the field of psychology. Whether you've studied psychology or just heard his name in passing, Freud's theories have profoundly shaped our understanding of the human mind. Buckle up as we embark on an intriguing journey through Freud's philosophy, exploring his groundbreaking ideas and the controversies that still surround them. Early life and influences. Sigmund Freud was born on May 6, 1856, in Freiburg, Moravia, now part of the Czech Republic. His early life was marked by academic excellence and a keen interest in the workings of the mind. Freud initially pursued a medical degree at the University of Vienna, where his fascination with neurology and the study of the brain began to take shape. During his studies, he encountered the works of Charles Darwin and the burgeoning field of evolutionary biology, which significantly influenced his thinking. The birth of psychoanalysis. Freud's journey into the depths of the human psyche began with his clinical practice. He observed that many of his patients suffered from hysteria, a term used at the time to describe a variety of psychological disorders, often with physical symptoms like paralysis or severe anxiety. Traditional medical treatments failed to alleviate these conditions, prompting Freud to explore new approaches. In collaboration with his mentor, Joseph Breuer, Freud developed the technique of free association. This method involved encouraging patients to talk freely about whatever came to mind, without censorship or judgment. Freud discovered that by doing so, patients often revealed repressed memories and emotions buried in their unconscious minds. This insight led to the development of his famous theory of the unconscious. The structure of the mind: id, ego, and superego. One of Freud's most enduring contributions is his model of the human psyche, which he divided into three distinct parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. The id. This is the primal part of our psyche, present from birth. The id operates on the pleasure principle, seeking immediate gratification of our basic urges and desires. It is entirely unconscious, and driven by instinctual needs like hunger, thirst, and sexual desire. The ego, emerging in early childhood. The ego is the rational part of our mind. It operates on the reality principle, negotiating between the unrealistic demands of the id and the constraints of the real world. The ego is responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, functioning both consciously and unconsciously. The superego. This component develops later in childhood and represents internalized societal norms and moral values. The superego strives for perfection, judging our actions and thoughts, and producing feelings of guilt or pride based on how well we conform to ethical standards. The interplay between these three components shapes our behavior and personality. Freud believed that psychological distress arises when there is an imbalance or conflict between the id, ego, and superego. Dream analysis, the royal road to the unconscious. Freud famously referred to dreams as the royal road to the unconscious. He believed that dreams are a window into our deepest desires and fears, often revealing hidden aspects of our psyche. In his seminal work, The Interpretation of Dreams, Freud introduced the idea that dreams have both manifest content, the literal storyline, and latent content, the hidden psychological meaning. Freud proposed that dreams are a form of wish fulfillment, allowing us to experience desires that are unacceptable or unattainable in waking life. Through the process of dream analysis, he sought to uncover the latent content by interpreting symbols and themes within the dream. For example, Freud might analyze a dream about flying as a representation of a desire for freedom or escape from life's pressures. The Oedipus complex, a controversial theory. One of Freud's most contentious theories is the Oedipus complex, derived from the Greek myth of Oedipus, who unwittingly killed his father and married his mother. Freud proposed that during the phallic stage of psychosexual development, around ages 3 to 6, boys experience unconscious sexual desires for their mothers and view their fathers as rivals for their mother's affection. He believed that resolving this conflict is crucial for healthy psychological development. For girls, Freud introduced the concept of the Electra complex, suggesting that they experience a similar dynamic, desiring their fathers and competing with their mothers. However, Freud's theories on female development have been widely criticized and are considered outdated by many modern psychologists. Defense mechanisms. Protecting the ego. Freud identified several defense mechanisms that the ego employs to protect itself from anxiety and internal conflict. These mechanisms operate unconsciously, helping us cope with stress and maintain psychological equilibrium. Some of the key defense mechanisms include repression, the unconscious blocking of unacceptable thoughts and feelings from conscious awareness. Repressed memories can still influence behavior and emotions, often resurfacing in disguised forms. Denial, refusing to acknowledge an unpleasant reality, effectively ignoring its existence. This mechanism can provide temporary relief, but can be detrimental in the long term. Projection, attributing one's own unacceptable desires or impulses to others. For example, someone who feels hostility towards a colleague might accuse the colleague of being hostile towards them. Rationalization, creating plausible but false explanations to justify behavior or thoughts that are otherwise unacceptable. This allows individuals to avoid facing the true reasons for their actions. Sublimation, channeling unacceptable impulses into socially acceptable activities. For example, someone with aggressive tendencies might become a professional athlete, using their energy in a constructive way. Freud's legacy and criticisms. Freud's theories revolutionized the understanding of the human mind and laid the foundation for modern psychoanalysis. However, his work has also faced significant criticism. Many of Freud's ideas, such as the Oedipus complex and his views on female psychology, are considered controversial and have been challenged by subsequent research. Critics argue that Freud's theories lack empirical support and rely too heavily on anecdotal evidence from his clinical practice. Additionally, some of his concepts, like the id, ego, and superego, are seen as overly simplistic and not reflective of the complexity of human psychology. Despite these criticisms, Freud's influence endures. His pioneering work opened up new avenues for exploring the unconscious mind, and many of his ideas have been expanded upon and refined by later psychologists. Concepts like defense mechanisms, the importance of early childhood experiences, and the impact of unconscious processes on behavior remain integral to the field of psychology. Modern interpretations and applications. While some of Freud's theories have been debunked or revised, others continue to inspire contemporary psychological research and practice. For instance, the concept of unconscious processing is a cornerstone of cognitive psychology, and Freud's emphasis on early experiences has influenced developmental psychology. Therapeutic techniques derived from psychoanalysis, such as talk therapy and the exploration of transference, where patients project feelings about significant figures onto their therapists, are widely used in modern psychotherapy. Freud's work also paved the way for various other schools of thought, including Jungian psychology, object relations theory, and humanistic psychology. Freud in popular culture. Freud's ideas have permeated popular culture, often in ways that blur the lines between science and myth. Terms like Freudian slip, referring to unintentional errors that reveal subconscious thoughts, and anal retentive, describing a person obsessively meticulous, have entered everyday language. Freud's portrayal in films, literature, and art reflects both fascination and skepticism, illustrating the enduring intrigue surrounding his work. Conclusion: Freud's enduring influence. As we wrap up this exploration of Sigmund Freud's philosophy, it's clear that his contributions to psychology are both profound and polarizing. Freud dared to delve into the darkest corners of the human mind, unearthing insights that continue to provoke thought and debate. Whether you view him as a genius or a flawed pioneer, there's no denying that Freud's legacy has left an indelible mark on our understanding of ourselves. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the mind of Sigmund Freud. We hope this episode has sparked your curiosity and provided a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the human psyche. Stay tuned for more captivating explorations into the world of philosophy and psychology, right here on the Mindful Musings podcast. Until next time, keep pondering the mysteries of the mind.